let's stick with the association, but go all the way to the East Coast, where VJ, we're gonna talk Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
All right. But I want to get your quick opinion, because you weren't on the show this week earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your quick opinion on the Kevin Durant about face. What'd you think?
I thought, but that's what was going to happen from the beginning. Ever since back to June 23rd when this all broke. I think you and I did a show together. I said this is all fluff. It's business as usual. I thought it was, a ploy to get Kyrie his deal, but I never thought him nor Kyrie were going anywhere. It just made zero sense. So it just made sense for this just to come full circle, and let's go ahead and get it all out, kumbaya, right before training camp. And let's get ready to try to go get a championship.
Yeah, I thought Durant wanted out, but I thought the Nets was just like, why would you trade him?
Yeah.
Unless you just get blown away with a great deal. Like, don't trade him. You got control.
Yep.
You got 4 years, and the Nets they retook control of their franchise this year.
Yeah.
The best move was to get Kyrie on the 1-year deal. They did that. They kept KD. They let him know, look, we're not just going to give you the coach or the GM that you want. All right, they moved. One of the things that upset him was they moved on from one of his good friends who was the shooting coach.
Yeah.
His shooting coach. And they did that. And so that's a start. They still need to fix that culture even more so. But that was a step in the right direction. But Jay Williams, the now an analyst for ESPN, of course, All-American ball player at Duke, played a little bit in the league, but had that motorcycle injury lottery pick with the Bulls.
Was a beast.
That essentially ended his career. He made a comment, was it today, Rob G, yesterday, about the Brooklyn Nets that I just think is ludicrous. Here it is.
I've never seen pressure like this before in any sport. I think for Steve Nash and for the next Kyrie Irving's on a 1-year deal, essentially, you keep hearing stuff about him wanting to be in LA. Kevin Durant has given an ultimatum to Joe Tsai. How long will he remain there? Steve Nash, there's a lot of pressure on him. He might be the hottest coach on the hottest hot seat out of any sport for these next couple of months, because if they don't trend in the right direction, you can replace him with a guy like Mark Jackson. There are other candidates out there to hold other people accountable. And we haven't seen Ben Simmons play basketball in a year and a half. I've never seen a situation in any sport like the kind of drama that is following this team heading into this season.
Okay, maybe ludicrous was a bit strong.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, because a lot of what he said was true and accurate.
Yeah.
My main issue is this. I've never seen a team in any sport face this much pressure. And to me, the team that has faced, I would say, certainly the most pressure in the last 20, 30 years, but I would argue right now at the top of my head, ever in NBA history, I think the team with the most pressure was the Miami Heatles. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. I mean, the vitriol that was aimed at them, particularly LeBron, but them as a whole, was incredible. All of them, or certainly Dwayne and LeBron, superstars, Bosh a star. That was the most pressure any team has ever faced. Otherwise, what he said was good, because he's right. Ben Simmons, Nash, Durant now, Kyrie, they all do have individual things they need to prove. But I think he just went a little too far, though.
I'm not sure if he went too far. I would have to sit and just try to figure out the NBA teams. I mean, I could go to, when Shaq got first to LA and they were getting eliminated and they finally got Phil Jackson. I think maybe that year there was a ton of pressure for Shaq and Kobe to deliver. And Phil himself also, you came here now. You had Mike and Scotty all those years. Oh, let's see if you can do it with Kobe and Shaq. I think that team could be in discussion for it. But I agree with Jay Will. I really do. And I think that it's
far as this being the most pressure.
Yeah, it could
of
be.
any NBA team or any team in sports.
Yeah, well, any team in sports,
because they're not even favored to win the conference.
Once again, that's a stretch because you'd have to sit and tell me all the major league teams that made all these moves or NFL teams that made all these moves, and I would have to sit and try to break all that down.
Right.
But
see, I'm not arguing there's not pressure on each of these guys individually and as a team as a whole. My thing is there can't be the utmost pressure on you if you're not even predicted to win the championship. You're not even predicted to get to the finals.
That doesn't mean it's not a lot of pressure, though. Just because
that's my point.
Odds, the odds aren't on you. I think I put it to you like this: there's more pressure on them than any other team in the NBA this season coming up. That's for sure. That's for sure. There's not a team and players, Durant, Kyrie, like the things he mentioned. Kyrie, like you and I talked about this. He's got a ball. Like he has no choice but to really show up and show out this year in every way possible. He has zero opportunity to go through any mental things, anything, defending it or like it or not. He can't do it this year, bro. You got to fight through it this year. Even Durant, this is now a year. Like, hey, bro, Golden State they just won one without you, dog. They won one without you before. You came. You got a lot of the credit for the two. You left. They went through some stuff, but once they got back together, they won again, dog. And you still haven't gotten your team even to the finals, your own squad, again, with Brooklyn. So I think there's a ton on him. Ben Simmons, same thing. We haven't even seen this guy play. We gotta see you play like you got a ball. And last, Steve Nash. I agree with him. That's the coach. That's the hottest coaching seat in all of sports. For the next calendar year, that's the hottest coaching seat in all of sports, especially, Chris, being that it came out that Durant wanted him fired after he defended and stuck up for him and spoke up for him after they got swept. So just a lot of craziness in Brooklyn, man. But I agree with him. But the whole sports, most pressure of all teams all the time, I'd have to sit down. I need an hour or so to go through teams and leagues and come up with that answer.
Yeah, I mean, my issue with the Nets, because I think on paper, you can argue they're the most talented team in the East. And some might even say the league. Obviously, the Clippers are there. The Warriors, just because of who they are, their system, all that. But the Nets' problem to me is all about what's between the ears.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, will Kevin Durant lead? Kyrie Irving, to your point, will he do the right thing on and off the court? Will Ben Simmons get on the court?
Will he even play?
I'm expecting him to, but I got to be honest, and I said this other day, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not predicting it. I'm certainly not hoping for it. But if he didn't play game one, like if he just, I'm not quite ready yet. I'm almost there. I'm close. I'm not ready. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you, Chris.
Right?
Listen, I
hate to say it because it's just terrible, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, Chris, if he misses like half the season, dude. Like we just don't know about this guy.
No, I can't argue that.
We just don't know about this guy, right?
Because if he misses the first game,
come on.
Why not miss the half? What's the difference?
Why not sit out till Christmas then?
Right.
Why
What's
not sit out till the New Year?
A month from then. You've had the whole off season to get yourself ready.
Yep, absolutely.
So I agree with you on that. But so let me throw this at you.
Okay.
What constitutes, and this is where, again, I get Jay Will, I get you, there is pressure, there is certainly drama. These individuals have a lot to prove. But the reason I can't go the ultimate pressure of all the teams in the NBA history, forget the other leagues, is just because what would constitute a good season? To me, and I think they have the talent to win it, but if they got to the finals, I actually think that they need to get to the finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to me, getting to the finals would be, it's what they should do. I'm not predicting them because I'm not making my pick right now, but right now I'm not leaning toward picking them.
Of course.
In the East.
Of course. Yeah.
But that to me is really what would be, that's like what they need to do. That's like the minimum that you could say it wasn't a disappointment, getting to the finals. Anything else, I think it's going to be a disappointment.
Especially if people are healthy, like the main guns, the big dogs.
Well, yeah, right.
On like
assuming
the top 4 big dogs in the East: Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. Right? Those would be on paper. On paper, you can throw the Heat in there too. Okay, so 5. If most of the big dogs are relatively healthy, yeah, bro, you got to go through that gauntlet. You can't lose in the semis or even the conference finals. You have to get, in my opinion, to the finals. And if it's them and the Warriors, if the Warriors can duplicate it and get back again, then even if they were to lose that, it's like, okay, well, they just lost to the 5-time champion in the last 9 years. Okay. But I do think what Jay Will is looking at is the fact that Kevin Durant is being compared to who? A lot of people consider the second best or the best player ever in basketball, and that's LeBron James. Therefore, there is pressure, maybe not as big as what LeBron had on him. Not maybe, I'll say no. He didn't, not as big as what LeBron had on, but I don't think Wade had that pressure.
But there's pressure. No, there's pressure on KD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not with LeBron. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Because he's being compared. And I never put KD over LeBron. LeBron's a better player all around than KD is. KD's probably the better scorer, and that's probably the one thing he does better in their prime, better than LeBron, is he can just flat out go get buckets. That's just who he is. But his legacy is on the line, much like LeBron's legacy was on the line when he went to Miami. Wade's legacy wasn't on the line. Bosh's legacy wasn't on the line. It was LeBron. So I think that's where he's coming from if he's saying the most pressure in NBA history on a team. But again, I'd be hard-pressed to throw the 99-2000 year in there with Shaq and Kobe and Phil Jackson. It's kind of being up. That was Shaq's legacy right there that was on the line.
I think Kobe was still young.
Exactly, but that was still Shaq's legacy.
That gave him an out, though.
You think? You think that would have gave Shaq an out? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shaq was of age where it's like, okay, you got to start winning championships.
Yeah, well, he said it himself. You remember when they got swept? He was famous for, I'm at the point now where individual stats mean nothing to me. I play for championships. That's what I'm here for.
Nah, that's right.
Right?
So he had to, but I just think as a whole, because Kobe was so young, it wasn't quite as much. But Kevin Durant's look, we know when we say legacy on the line, obviously he's a Hall of Famer. Obviously he's one of the best ever. That's undisputable. But what you mean, I think, by on the line, and I mean, like, we've just thrown out top 12 player of all time. Some say top 10 player of all time. Certainly people are saying top 15. If Kevin Durant can't show that he can lead his own team to the championship,
speak on it.
I'm not sure that top 15 stuff is going to hold.
Speak on it.
Real talk.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I can't put him, and I'm not putting him ahead of Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And most people probably do right now, but I'm not putting him ahead of Isaiah Thomas. Like, KD, because if he can't, and I get it, he does have rings, whereas Barkley and Ewing and some of these other greats, Karl Malone, don't. But I need to see him lead his own team to a championship before I start talking about, top 12 again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm just keeping it real.
That's real. And I said last week on my show that this season it's really going to set where his legacy is going to be, whether people want to agree with that or like it or not, because that's just the way we've turned sports and sports talk radio and television into. We come up with these lists every week and every day, and it's top this or top that or top that. But there's certain criteria, bro. And like you said, you got to win it, especially that the Warriors won it without him. Being that they went and got one CB without him,
before and after.
Yes, you gotta get one, KD, or you easy money sniper, all of that, bro. Durantula, all of that. But at the end of the day, when we start to put them lists together, you slide down that list because Durant's got 2, but it's like, come on, man, he's got 2, and you guys were saying it was the greatest team ever created, right? So you got 2 with them, but then when he went to go do it on his own, and he had a Kyrie, and he had a Ben Simmons, and he had a
Westbrook. He had a Westbrook. His first 9 years of his career.
Exactly. You've had players, bro. Like, no, I'm completely with you, and I love Durant. I watched the kid grow up in the DMV, man.
Right.
So I've seen him since the kid was 15 years old, but you gotta deliver this year. There's tons of pressure, and yes,
and if it's this year, next year, whatever, you need to deliver. Because then I start looking at even if you don't win it, can you get me to a few
Can
finals?
you get me there? Yeah, can you get me to a few? Yeah.
Without Golden State? Like, get me to a few.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
and
with
then
you.
I'm starting to think, okay, he probably always had the edge over Barkley because he won the 2. But, you know, you start looking at the Barkley-Garnett level.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though, Chris.
Grouping.
Like, because we know who, bro. Like, put the rings and all that away. This is a real argument that most people just won't want to have because we're not conditioned to. But if you were to size up just the player, put the film on Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant, the only thing he did that was just much cleaner was it's an easier league. You can't hand check things of that nature. He's got a better jumper. He's a better jump shooter. I won't say, he's a better scorer. Well, you can score a lot easier in today's game. Barkley was 6'4.5", 6'5", hopped like a kangaroo, had hands like baseball mitts, and jumped like a kangaroo and had the arm's length of an orangutan. Barkley was, people forget.
Barkley was phenomenal.
Thank you. People forget how great this man was for a decade in the National Basketball Association because for the last 20 years, he's been on TV. It's been a long time since the man's played. Right. But when people start to try to play him and start to talk, I go, listen, you guys need to stop being vintage. You guys need to do some real research and go back and watch, bro. Like, if it wasn't for Jordan, he might have one. If it wasn't for Mike.
Oh, he probably would.
Yeah, he carried that squad.
Would.
Kevin Johnson, those guys.
Like when Barkley played and Pippen's just flat out said it, some of the criticism of Charles was about the intangibles that lacking the intangibles that lead you to win the championship. Wasn't a defender. And he could have been, not that he would have been an all-league defender, but you could have been better, putting more effort there. And people, Pippen said he didn't work hard and all that. You can take what Pippen says with a grain of salt, but still, this type of stuff being said. And that's what we're looking at KD. It's different. It's not about his work ethic or anything like that, but it's about, is he a leader?
Yeah, tangible.
Will he say something to another star teammate? Yeah. Does he want to put all the pressure on himself? Will he look in the mirror?
Yeah.
Because that's what this whole summer was about, not looking in the mirror and looking at everybody else. So